So today we've got three fantastic products from WEIBANG. We've got three of their lithium-ion ride-on mowers. We've got the brand new one over there, which will be available in the UK market very shortly, and that's the side discharge. We've got the 81RC. This was the first ever direct collect ride-on mower to be launched in the whole of the world. And we've got the 76SD, which is a side discharge machine. As you can see, typical WEIBANG product, it's built with strength. All this metal work down here, absolutely fantastic. We'll go through each product and talk you through them. And we're lucky enough to have Lewis here from WEIBANG as well, who's going to be able to introduce some of the products with me today.
Hi everyone, it's great to be here with you today, Josh.
Right, so we'll start off with the 76SD. This is basically a 30-inch side discharge ride-on tractor. It's got twin motors on the gearbox, and these have got overload protectors on them. So this machine is designed for that longer grass, those paddock areas that get out of control. Having the overload protector on there will stop you from basically damaging your motors. So it's a fail-safe. As you can see, as I mentioned, typical WEIBANG product, complete full metal construction, even from the front of the bumper all the way to the back. This is all metal. So decent bit of kit. This one also, the cutting deck is an optional mulch side discharge. It comes with the mulching plate as standard, and the side discharge flap, when you want to chuck longer grass out the side, you put that on there and then it will discharge it out the way for you. If you want a finer cut, you basically put the mulch plug down and then you'll break up the chippings finer. The cutting height on this one is nice and short, so it goes down to 25 millimeters all the way up to 103 millimeters. And as you can see, very, very simple to change it from mulch to side discharge. So the big question is why go battery? Well, three main things would be, there's no fueling, less servicing costs, but the most important thing would be the ease of use. So I'm going to talk you through the controls on this product right now. So you've got easy on off key, just like so. This will then light up your battery charge indicator, which is just done on cells. You've then got forward, a neutral, and reverse. There's also three silvery buttons here. This button here will basically allow you to mow in reverse. This button here will operate your LEDs, the front lights for the machine. And this button here, in simple terms, is a cruise control. So you set your speed with your foot pedal, click that button on, that will set your speed. So if you've got nice wide open areas, you can take your feet off and just relax. Last button is the PTO engagement. So this will start your powerful motors up on your cutter deck. Right, so we've got really simple, easy access to your charging point. So normal UK 3-pin plug, and your charging point is just here. So you turn it in, lock it into place, it's ready to charge. From flat, this one will take about 8 hours, give or take, but the runtime on it is absolutely fantastic. It is 2 hours, which will equate to about 3,000 square meters of garden. So you've got a large garden area, this is a product for you. So really easy height adjustment. There's 10 height settings, like I said, 25 mil to 103 mil, and that's just easy up and down on that lever there. We've also got a cup holder, which always comes in handy. Your seat can be adjusted forward and back on that lever there, and your park brake, like an old school ratchet system. Pull it up, that's your park, let it go, you're ready to drive. The other thing I forgot to mention with this WEIBANG product is you've actually got 4 anti-sculpting wheels. Now it is only a 30-inch cutting deck, and most 30-inch cutting decks don't even have an anti-sculpting wheel. So you can see WEIBANG have really thought about this. You know, these are designed for, your paddocks, your overgrown lawns. This is designed to basically ride up. If it was to go over too low a spot, the anti-sculpting wheels will kick in and it will lift your cutting deck up to help protect any of the equipment underneath. Right, so here we have the big brother in the range. This is the 81RC, a 32-inch direct collect ride-on battery mower. It's a 72 volt lithium-ion product. And as you can see, the little bit of a difference on this one over the smaller one is this one's got a grass box. Comes with a mulch plug as well, and also an optional rear discharge chute. So if you are doing those first cuts of the year, you can just blow the grass out onto the ground until you get it to the height you want, and then bring it down to a nice low cut. The other thing with this one is it cuts 130 millimeters on its highest cut, and that's all the way down to 25 mil. So it's the lowest cut as the 76, but gives you a higher end top cutting capacity. That's shown here on this first notch on the height of cut. So it's quite a big jump between the two notches there. So this machine is actually rated to cut 6,000 square meters on one charge, which is over an acre. absolutely fantastic for a battery ride on. The other thing you'll notice is the tight turning circle on it. So if you've got a garden area that's got quite a lot of obstacles in it, that will work very well. Charge time on this one, about 12 hours, give or take. That's from flat as well. The controls are very similar to the 76 SD in the way they work. So you've got your reverse mow function, you've got your cruise control, you've got your LED lights, your PTO switch, your neutral, reverse and forward switches. So they're exactly the same controls. Right, so the 81RC, as I mentioned, is a rear collect tractor. So that means you've got a grass box on the back. It's easy to take off, like so. This allows you to put the rear deflector on and the mulch plug. I've got the mulch plug to hand. Nice and simple operation. That's just hooked into place up there, like so. So this is how easy the rear deflector goes on. It's just held on by 4 wing nuts. Just undoing the last one and we'll take that off. And that just comes out of place like so. Right, so you've got a grass box full indicator, which is fully adjustable for sensitivity. So if you are cutting longer, wetter grass, you can pull that out. That will allow the buzzer to go off quicker so you don't have that potential of blocking up your chute. Push it back in, the grass is drier, and then it'll allow you to fill the grass box fuller. Right, so we flipped the WEIBANG back on its end. Obviously there's no oil in this engine, it is completely lithium-ion, so there's no oil or fuel leaks on this one. But Lewis is just going to demonstrate the steering on this one. As I mentioned, really tight steering, and that is done by the UJ that's on the steering shaft. Most agricultural machines or agricultural minded people will know about universal joints. You don't really get them on ride-on tractors. So it's quite a thing to put this on there. The other thing is you've got the pivoting shaft on the center, so the axle is then pivoting. So if you've got your uneven ground, it's going to give you a smoother ride and a really nice cut and finish. So the cutter deck is being shown here. You've got 3 powerful motors. So you've got the drive motor there for the gearbox, and you've got the 2 separate blade motors. Now, as you can see, the whole lot is a metal construction, so very high quality. The other thing to mention on the cutting deck is your shear pins. And that's a crankshaft protection. So basically, instead of damaging your motor, you're going to break the 2 little lugs on there, and that's going to be a cheap little part to replace if you were to ever damage it heavily. These are mulching rear collect blades as well, so there's no swapping of blades. One blade does both jobs. So the real difference between the 81RC and the 76 SD controls is that you've got an LCD screen on the larger model. This basically tells you your gear selection, your speed of your motors, your battery charge indication, and your hours that the product's been used. Now these 2 flashing zeros are going to tell me basically the speed of the motors. As I said, these are powerful motors, so we'll run them up and just show you what the figures are. So there we go, we're hitting around 3000 RPM, so really powerful, give you very good collection results, fantastic rear deflect, and very good mulching capabilities.
Josh has shown you the 2 existing machines in the WEIBANG range, and I'm pleased today to show you the future. So the latest addition to the WEIBANG range is our new battery Zero Turn. It's a new addition to the range and we feel it complements it well. As you've seen, from the 76cm side discharge to the 81cm rear collect, this 105cm side discharge and mulch Zero Turn is the next logical step up in the battery platform. Now, the first thing you'll notice that's different is when you sit and use the machine, you don't have a steering wheel or foot pedals to control the machine. Everything is done using these 2 control levers. You can use the 2 control levers to control each wheel independently. So here, from the right stick, you're controlling the right motor going forwards and back, and using the left stick, you're controlling the left wheel motor going forwards and back. And you see later on we do some cutting, when you push them forward together, you move forward at the same speed, and when you pull back, you can slow the speed down or even put the machine in reverse. So again, while we're sitting on the machine, you can see straight away there's a nice comfortable seating position with the wide seat, which also has a seat belt. So if you do choose to wish to buckle yourself in, if you are going over rough or bumper ground, it does definitely hold you in place. Again, while I'm strapped into the machine, all the controls and all the operation is close to hand. Here you can see you have 2 cup holders, and at this side you have your operations and your controls. Simply starter key, your blade engagement, and also your hour meter. Further down the machine, you'll notice 2 levers. This one here is the parking brake. As I was parked, I should really have it turned on. And you also notice a foot brake. So if you are driving along and you do feel you are in a little bit of ground where you need to stop quicker abruptly, you can apply the foot brake and it will bring the machine quite quickly and abruptly to a stop. And then we have our height of cuts. So you'll see the machine goes all the way down to 15 millimeters up to 115 millimeters. So a huge range of 100 mil. And again, nice and easy from the driver's seat position. You can find the height of cut you need, set it, sit back in the zero turn, and away you go. So if I jump back off the machine, I'll take you around some of the features closer up. So down here at the front of the machine, we can see the heavy duty front caster wheels. Again, when you look at this, even for a battery zero turn, this is real commercial quality. It's the type of thing you'd expect to see on a zero turn retailing for really between £6,000 to £10,000, if not more. Again, with grease nipples on the bearings and also on the wheels, meaning it's easy to do service and maintenance work on the machine. Moving back, we see the 105cm or 42-inch cutting deck. Again, you've got the option of either side discharge or mulch. Here, with the flap down, you can see you've got the grass shooting out the side. If we lift it up, you can see this blanking plate. This blanking plate attached means that you can mulch the grass. So you're cutting the clippings nice and fine, allowing them to recycle back into the ground. So again, if you're doing a more formal area or an area you cut more regularly, because remember with mulching, you should really only take the top third of the grass off, you can put the blanking plate on and you can keep all the grass clippings in the cutter deck and you can drop them, recycle them down. You see it's actually very easy to change from mulching to side discharge. Simply undo the wing nut, pop the bolt out, come to the other side, do the same again. Grab the two bolts and now you can quickly move into side discharge. Again, while we're down here at the cutting deck, you can have a look in there at the brushless motors. Underneath these covers are powerful brushless motors. Each one is connected to a blade which is actually cutting the grass and throwing it out. Again, having a brushless motor on each blade means you get plenty of power and plenty of torque, allowing it to handle the tough, thick grass that we get here in the UK. Continuing backwards on the machine, you'll notice the sort of sloped, angled bodywork design. It means that when you look at it, even though a lot of it's not needed, it gives space for controllers and electronics to stay safe and encompassed, and it gives it that nice aesthetic, traditional zero turn look. On the back end, you see here we've got our standard turf tyres, so they get plenty of grip when they're moving around the lawn. Again, you don't want them too grippy, as when you're doing those 360-degree turns, if you've got too much grip, you can quite often tear up the lawn you're working on. Again, you can see here, when you look at the previous models Josh showed, there was a plastic cover on. As this is a development machine, we haven't quite finished the wheel cap, but you can see looking down at the heavy duty studs and bolts and locking pin quality of the machine you're buying. Another important point to mention is each wheel is separately controlled by a brushless motor. That means on this machine you have 4 brushless motors in total. 1 for each blade, so 2 for the cutter deck, and 2 for the transmission, 1 for the left wheel and 1 for the right wheel. So here at the back of the machine we have the charging port. Again, very similar to what Josh showed you in the other machines. Similar design. Flip up the cover, grab the charger, stick it in and twist, and it locks in place tight and secure. And again, you've now got the charging unit, which simply plugs into a standard UK 3-pin plug. Due to the size of this battery, it takes over 12 hours to do a complete charge from start to finish. That might sound a lot of time, but considering this machine will cut up to 8,000 square meters, that's 2 acres on one full charge. For most people, that'll be ample area to cover on one battery, which means they can take the machine in, park it up in the garage or shed, allow it to charge and come back to it the next day if they have to, or in many cases it might be a couple of days later. While we're at the back of the machine, you'll notice a nice little feature on the back of the seat where there's a little cubby hole. So it means that it's nice and easy for you to store some tools when you're out using it, or if you've got some paperwork with a bungee strap, it can just sit in there and it gets held nice and tight and secure.
Right, so there we go. Thank you, Lewis, for explaining the new Zero Turn. That looks absolutely fantastic and can't wait to be able to sell them next year. We're going to give these two a quick go, show you how they operate around the garden. I think Lewis is then going to get on the Zero Turn and give that a blast as well. So what do you think, Lewis? Should we give them a go?
Yeah, start your engine.
Start your engines. Mine is started. There we go. We got 2 totally different machines here. I've got the rider collector, so I'll be bagging the grass, and Lewis has got the mulch mode set up on the side discharge 76. We've got a nice bit of trees over there as well in the garden, so we'll show you how tight the turning circles are. The other thing is obviously how quiet they are. So we'll run up the blades in a moment and drive away, and we'll still be able to talk to the camera at the same time. So we'll give them a go and see what the crack's all about. So there we go, nice and quiet. I'm in rear collect. There we go, thank you, Lewis. So what can I say? 3 more fantastic products from WEIBANG. Thank you ever so much for joining us. If you like our videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, find us on Facebook, and yeah, we'll keep bringing you this content. Many thanks.
Thanks very much.